Indian passport holders, take note, 7 countries you can enter visa-free in 2026. Imagine landing in a foreign country where you're not treated like an outsider. No visa stress, no suspicion, just a warm welcome. Here are 7 countries that openly welcome Indians in 2026. We're going beyond visa rules, diving into real culture, lifestyle, and how Indians are actually treated, using insights from Travel Plus, Leisure, Afar, and Outside. Stay till the end for the one country that offers Indians not just visa-free entry, but real opportunity. One stamp can change how the world treats you. But for most Indians, getting that stamp is the hardest part of the journey. Growing up, many of us were told that the Indian passport is getting stronger. And on paper, that sounds reassuring. But the lived reality is different. For millions of Indians, international travel still begins with forms, fees, uncertainty, and the quiet fear of rejection. While others book tickets first and think later, Indians often wait weeks or months just for permission to go. That gap between perception and reality shapes how we travel, how we work abroad, and even how confident we feel crossing borders. Visa friction doesn't just delay holidays, it blocks opportunity. It discourages spontaneous travel, limits short-term work or business exploration, and subtly tells people they must prove themselves before they're allowed in. Over time, that friction chips away at confidence. You start asking, is it worth applying? Instead of, where should I go next? That's why visa-free access matters so much. When a country offers visa-free, visa on arrival, or genuinely simple e-visa entry, it removes the first wall. It signals trust. It says, you're welcome to come, see, explore, and decide. And that welcome often extends beyond the airport. For this list, we didn't just look at visa policies. We looked deeper. Every country on this list meets 4 core criteria. First, ease of entry, visa-free, visa on arrival, or truly e-visa friendly for Indians. Second, cultural acceptance, how Indians are treated in daily life, not just at immigration. Third, opportunity, whether through jobs, business potential, or long-stay friendliness. And fourth, safety and lifestyle, because opportunity means nothing without peace of mind. One important thing to be clear about, this list is not ranked by popularity. These countries aren't chosen because they're trendy or viral, but because they offer something far more valuable to Indians: access, dignity, and real possibility. And that changes everything. Keep watching as we begin with the first country on our list. Picture this. You land on an island where temples feel familiar, faces smile easily, and for once, your passport doesn't slow you down. Country number 7 on our list is Indonesia. And for many Indians, it feels less like a foreign country and more like a cultural cousin. The welcome begins right at immigration. Indians enjoy visa-free or visa on arrival access, which means no long forms, no embassy visits, and no weeks of waiting. You book a ticket, you land, and you're in. That simplicity alone changes how travel feels. But Indonesia's connection with India runs deeper than visas. In Bali, Hindu traditions are not a minority. They're woven into everyday life. Temples, ceremonies, offerings, and festivals create an atmosphere that feels instantly familiar to Indian travelers. You don't feel the need to explain your culture. It already exists there, respectfully preserved and proudly practiced. Over the past decade, Indonesia has also seen a growing Indian expat presence. Entrepreneurs, yoga teachers, digital nomads, hospitality professionals, and creatives from India are quietly building lives here, especially in Bali and Jakarta. That growing community makes settling in easier, whether it's finding food, festivals, or social circles that feel like home. Lifestyle is another reason Indonesia works. It's affordable by global standards, rich in natural beauty, and generally safe for travelers and long stayers. Days move slower here. People are warm. And for many Indians visiting for the first time, there's a surprising sense of belonging that's hard to put into words. But Indonesia isn't perfect, and it's important to be honest about the hidden downside. While short stays are easy, long-term visas can be complex. Regulations change, paperwork can be confusing, and staying long-term often requires legal help, patience, and planning. Indonesia welcomes you in, but staying for years takes effort. Still, as a gateway country, Indonesia does something powerful. It removes friction and replaces it with familiarity. But the next country offers something Indonesia doesn't: scale. What if moving abroad didn't feel like starting over, but simply like changing neighborhoods? That's the feeling many Indians get when they arrive in Thailand. Our country number 6. From the moment you land, the process is refreshingly simple. Thailand offers visa-free and extended entry options for Indians, making it easy to come for a holiday, and just as easy to stay longer if life pulls you in. There's no pressure to rush, no sense of being on borrowed time. You're encouraged to slow down and settle into the rhythm of the place. Step outside the airport and something unexpected happens. Familiarity. Indian food is everywhere, from South Indian tiffin stalls in Bangkok to North Indian restaurants in Phuket and Pattaya. Hindu temples, especially dedicated to Shiva and Ganesha, sit quietly in the middle of busy cities. During Diwali, Holi, and Navratri, celebrations spill into streets and community halls, often joined by locals who already know the rituals. Culture here isn't just tolerated, it's visible. Thailand is also one of Asia's most trusted medical tourism hubs, and that matters more than people realize. World-class hospitals, English-speaking doctors, and affordable treatment attract thousands of Indians every year, not just for emergencies, but for long-term healthcare, wellness, and elective procedures. Knowing you can access quality care removes a huge mental barrier to living abroad. So why do Indians feel especially comfortable here? Community and cost. Thailand has large Indian communities, some established for generations, particularly in Bangkok. That means temples, groceries, cultural groups, and support networks already exist. You're never truly alone. At the same time, the affordable lifestyle allows Indians to live well without constant financial pressure. Rent, food, transport, and healthcare all cost less than in many global cities. While quality of life often feels higher, Thailand doesn't ask you to adapt overnight. It meets you halfway with warmth, familiarity, and space to build a life at your own pace. For many Indians, it's not just an easy country to enter, it's an easy country to belong to. Make sure to watch all the way through. You'd want to know what other countries Indians can enter without visas. Sometimes, the easiest country to settle into is the one that doesn't make you feel foreign at all. That's exactly how Malaysia, our country number 5, feels to many Indians. The journey starts smoothly with visa-free access, allowing Indians to enter without the stress of paperwork or long approval waits. That immediate ease sets the tone. You arrive relaxed, open, and ready to explore, instead of exhausted by bureaucracy. Once inside, communication is effortless. English is widely spoken across Malaysia, from airports and offices to cafes and hospitals. For Indians, especially those working, studying, or running businesses, this removes one of the biggest invisible barriers abroad. You don't have to translate yourself constantly. Your ideas, skills, and personality come through clearly. But what truly defines Malaysia's comfort level is its people. The country has a strong Indian origin population, many of whom have been part of Malaysia's story for generations. In cities like Kuala Lumpur and Penang, Indian culture is deeply embedded in everyday life. Temples sit alongside mosques and churches. Indian groceries, music, cinema, and festivals are part of the national rhythm, not something hidden away. During Thaipusam and Deepavali, the entire country seems to pause and participate. This deep-rooted presence creates something rare, a sense of legitimacy. Indians here don't feel like temporary guests, they feel recognized. Whether you're renting a home, starting a business, or enrolling your children in school, there's an underlying familiarity that makes daily life smoother and more predictable. Lifestyle-wise, Malaysia strikes a balance many Indians appreciate. It's modern without being overwhelming, affordable without feeling limiting, and diverse without being divisive. Public infrastructure works, food options are endless, and safety is generally high, making it especially appealing for families and long-term stays. Malaysia welcomes Indians with warmth and practicality. It makes life abroad feel manageable, even comfortable, but there's an important distinction to make. Malaysia is friendly, but the next one is emotionally welcoming. What if you landed in a country where your culture wasn't just accepted, but already woven into the national soul? That's the quiet magic of Mauritius, our country number 4. At first glance, it looks like a tropical island paradise. Blue water, calm streets, and a slower pace of life. But beneath that beauty lies something far more powerful for Indians. Deep cultural roots that trace directly back to India. A majority of Mauritians are of Indian origin, descendants of workers who arrived generations ago and helped shape the nation itself. This isn't symbolic or historical, it's living, breathing culture. Hindu temples, festivals, rituals, and traditions are part of everyday life. Diwali is a national holiday. Ramayana stories are familiar. And in many homes and markets, Hindi is understood, spoken, or at least warmly recognized. You don't feel the need to explain your customs or translate your values. People already know. What truly sets Mauritius apart, though, is its spirit. It is an extremely welcoming society, not just polite, but emotionally open. Locals don't see Indians as outsiders or temporary visitors. Conversations are easy, smiles are genuine. There's a sense of shared history that instantly breaks down walls. You're not being accommodated, you're being included. That feeling shows up in small but meaningful ways. When shopkeepers switch languages to make you comfortable. When neighbors invite you to celebrations without hesitation. When your presence feels normal, not noticeable. For Indians who have felt othered elsewhere, this is deeply grounding, and this is why Mauritius matters so much. Here, Indians aren't foreigners, they're part of the identity. The country's politics, culture, cuisine, and social fabric all reflect Indian influence, proudly and openly. That creates a rare sense of dignity abroad, the feeling that you belong not because you're tolerated, but because you've always been part of the story. Mauritius doesn't just welcome Indians at the border, it welcomes them at the heart. Don't miss the finale. Which country topped our list is going to blow your mind? What if an entire country already knew your language, your work ethic, and your value before you even arrived? That's the reality many Indians experience in the United Arab Emirates. And our country number 3. Entry itself sets the tone. With visa on arrival and easy entry options, the UAE removes much of the friction Indians are used to at borders. The process is fast, efficient, and professional, mirroring the pace of the country itself. But the real reason the UAE feels so familiar is its people. The country is home to a massive Indian diaspora, one of the largest anywhere in the world. In cities like Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and Sharjah, Indian languages are spoken daily. Indian food isn't a niche, it's mainstream. Temples, gurudwaras, mosques, and community centers serve millions who already call this place home. You don't have to search for belonging here. It's built into the system. The UAE also represents something deeply practical for Indians: opportunity. For decades, it has been a magnet for professionals, entrepreneurs, and skilled workers from India. From construction and logistics to finance, technology, healthcare, and retail, Indians power every layer of the economy. Starting a business is relatively straightforward. Global connectivity is unmatched, and the tax environment has historically been attractive. For many, the UAE isn't just a place to visit, it's a place to build. There's also a sense of safety and order that matters. Cities run on clear rules, infrastructure works, and daily life feels predictable. That stability allows people to focus on growth rather than survival, something not every destination offers. Yet, it's important to be clear-eyed. The UAE welcomes Indians primarily as contributors. Residency is tied to work or business, and long-term security depends on staying economically relevant. Still, within that framework, respect is real and earned. And this brings us to an important turning point in this list. Because while the UAE strongly welcomes Indians, the top 2 countries don't just welcome Indians, they depend on them. You'll want to know which countries these are. Trust me. What if the country welcoming you didn't care where you came from, only what you could build? That question finds its answer in Singapore, our country number 2. For Indians, the relationship begins smoothly with visa-free access, allowing travelers to enter without the anxiety that often shadows international movement. The first impression is clear and unmistakable. This is a place where systems work, rules are followed, and time is respected. But Singapore's real draw goes far beyond efficiency. Indian professionals are held in high regard here, not because of sentiment, but because of performance. In finance, technology, medicine, research, and entrepreneurship, Indians have built a reputation for competence and reliability. That respect translates into trust, responsibility, and real opportunity. You're not boxed into stereotypes, you're evaluated on results. At the core of Singapore's success is its merit-based society. Advancement is tied to skill, discipline, and contribution, not background, accent, or passport. For many Indians who have felt underestimated elsewhere, this is quietly liberating. Effort compounds here. Talent is noticed. Systems reward consistency. Singapore also ranks high because it feels both familiar and global at the same time. There is strong Indian influence woven into the country's identity. Little India isn't a tourist attraction, it's a living neighborhood. Indian festivals are public events. Indian languages, food, and culture are normalized, not exoticized. At the same time, Singapore is a launchpad to the world. Companies are international. Networks are global, and careers here don't stay local for long. Then there's safety and the rule of law. Streets are clean, public transport is flawless, and institutions are predictable. That stability creates mental space to think bigger, plan longer, and take calculated risks. Life here may be demanding, but it's fair. Singapore doesn't flatter you. It challenges you. It offers respect, structure, and global reach if you're willing to meet its standards. Singapore is efficient, but country number 1 is transformational. What country we're referring to is one that might just surprise you. What if a country didn't just open its borders to you, but made you feel like you'd always belonged? That's the story of the Philippines, our true country number 1 for Indians in 2026. On paper, the appeal begins with visa-free entry and extended stay flexibility, making travel effortless. But the real magic starts the moment you step off the plane. Unlike many places where bureaucracy greets you first, here the welcome is personal, genuine, and warm. The Philippines is also an English-speaking country, which removes one of the biggest invisible barriers for Indians abroad. Conversations are easy, paperwork is understandable, and navigating day-to-day life doesn't feel like a constant translation exercise. Combine that with a friendly, relationship-driven culture, and suddenly a new country feels like home. People smile, ask about your family, remember your name, and treat you as a neighbor before a visitor. The Philippines doesn't just welcome Indians, it gives them social mobility. This is a place where integration isn't conditional or slow. Discrimination is far less common than in other destinations. Indians can live, work, study, and start businesses without feeling invisible or othered. Over the past decade, a growing Indian business footprint has made its mark in sectors like IT, hospitality, trade, and education. Social and professional networks are welcoming, and opportunities often spread through strong people-to-people warmth, rather than formal applications alone. The Philippines isn't just about staying legally or visiting comfortably, it's about being part of the story. Festivals, neighborhoods, and workplaces include Indians seamlessly. Families raise children with cultural continuity. Entrepreneurs connect naturally, and friendships form across communities with ease. Most visa-free lists talk about entry. This country is about belonging. Entry is just the start. What the Philippines offers is a chance to grow, contribute, and thrive while being seen as part of the community, not a guest. That combination of flexible entry, opportunity, warmth, and belonging is why the Philippines doesn't just top our list, it redefines what it means for Indians to be truly welcomed abroad. The best country isn't always the richest, it's the one that treats you like a person first. Curious to explore any of the countries on our list? Check the links in the description and start discovering them for yourself.